started going in his younger years. Always wished it would be his life.
Okay, so today's a good day. It's taken me a while to get to this point, but we're getting to what I guess I'd say probably the third last stage. I've got all my panels in. I've got all the gaps filled with epoxy. I've sanded everything so that everything fits nice, and it gets a little bit tedious where you're just fine-tuning things. But now I'm ready. I've got my skin there. I got the panel ready. Now I'm going to mix some 403 into the epoxy, and it's going to be thickened, but it's going to be kind of like a maple syrup. I want to spread it around, and then what I'm going to do is I've got 3/4 inch screws with fender washers here, and I'm going to use those this time to hold that in place so that it gets a real nice tight seal, and then that's almost it. Once the skins are back on, I have to go over the seams with the grinder, grind about 1.5 inches back on either side of the seam, and then we got to build that back up with fiberglass cloth, and then we have to sand it down and put some fairing compound on it, and then we paint it. So I don't know how many steps that is, but we're definitely getting closer and closer to the finish line. So here we go.
Come gather round me, hearties, and a tale I'll sing to you. I swear upon the holy book that every word is true. And if you listen closely, ye may learn a thing or two about the fate that may await ye on the ocean blue. Hey!
Yeah, I'm seeing some oozing, which is what I wanted. Some oozing means that it's getting a good bond.
Charlie Riley and the gunner's mate I be on board a pirate vessel that we call the Liberty. Me life's a great adventure, and to no one I'm indentured. We live like princes as we sail upon the Caribbean. If I part from terra firma on the day that I should die, no carved stone shall mark where for eternity I lie. No cold or ground, no dirt, no sod shall ever cover me. Drake the black flag o'er me body and then bury me at sea. Stitch me up in the old hammock with 2 rounds shot at me feet, and toss me in the ocean where I'll settle to the deep. Give me body to the fishes and me soul to Davy Jones. Really rest in peace when I'm not but some.
There you go. So I've got it all screwed in. I'll wait for it to get tacky, and then I'll unscrew those screws. I just want to make sure there's pressure on it. And as you can see here, it's oozing out, which is good. That means I've got more than enough in there, and I'm going to spread that back into those cracks.
Bastards never sail the 7 seas. I've seen my share of action, and at times it can get hot. Unlikely wind up blown to bits or stabbed or caught or shot. And on the day I'm laid below, don't shed a tear for me, for I've made me fame and fortune living merrily and free. Stitch me up in the old hammock with 2 rounds shot at me feet, and toss me in the ocean where I'll settle to the deep. Give me body to the fishes and me soul to Davy Jones. I'll finally rest in peace when I'm not with soggy bones. Hey!
There. So now you can see I've got my top skin in, my fender washers holding everything nice and tight, and then I'll come back and I'll grind out the seams, clean them up a bit, But pretty happy with that. All we have left is this piece here. And this piece I've already put in, and as you can see, I've already ground it out. So, making progress.
It's all about the freedom to live life however you please. Stitch me up in the old hammock with two round shot at me feet, and toss me in the ocean where I'll settle to the deep. Give me body to the fishes and me soul to Davy Jones. I'll finally rest in peace when I'm not but soggy bones. I'll finally rest in peace when I'm not but soggy bones.
Okay, so all the seams are ground down. Well, not all the seams. I still have the middle to do, but we're running out of good days, good temperatures, so I thought I'd get as much done today as I could with regards to fiberglassing. So I've taken some acetone and cleaned it all up as best I could. And on the video I watched, they said you're to ground the seams down to the wood, but my fiberglass skins are pretty, they're pretty thick. I would say they're definitely more than 1/8 of an inch thick. So I didn't grind it down to the wood, but I did grind the seams down so it's like a divot when you run your hand across, so that it is, you know, ground quite a bit of material away. And so now I'm going to lay some fiberglass cloth on the seams, and I'm not going to use the fiberglass cloth to build up the divot as much as I'm simply just putting the cloth down so that it will hide and cover the seams, and then I'll fill in the divot with some fairing and epoxy compound, which will just make the process a little bit easier. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just brushed out some epoxy. It's just the 105 with the 205 with a little bit of 403 filler in it, just a little bit. You still want it to be fairly wet and thin. Then take my piece of pre-cut cloth and basically just lay it down. Got my gloves on so I can pat it down. I got my gloves on so I can pat it down, make sure it gets nice and stuck on there. Position it the way I want. And then what I do is I then brush a little bit of epoxy on top, just to make sure it's covered from both sides. And then once you have it brushed in, you take your fin roller. It's just a metal roller with fins in it, and that helps you roll out any air bubbles. So you don't want to go fast. You want to go nice and slow and work out from the center out. And this is going to get rid of your air bubbles, and it's going to help spread the epoxy. And again, you want to go nice and slow. And because this is the first time I've been doing it, I go back after it quite a few times and keep rolling it out, just so I can catch any air that I've missed, or any air that creeps in, if that's even possible. But I have been noticed, you know, on like my third pass, there is sometimes where I'm getting air out. And that's the fiberglassing. It's going pretty well, actually. This is kind of one of the easier, knock on wood or knock on fiberglass. This has been one of the easier parts of this project so far. Well, this fiberglass hasn't dried yet. I'm sure that'll cause me some problems if I've got air bubbles.